Welcome to this video tutorial on EasyMarks. EasyMark was principally created to allow the easy data entry of GPS waypoints into either Garmin Homeport or Garmin Map Source. Typically when creating a waypoint in these applications, you need to click on the map somewhere and then manually enter the waypoint data, the name, etc., etc. This can be very slow when multiple points need to be done. So this system was to create a better and faster way of doing so. So if I bring up the EasyMark interface, you see it's a standard Windows type interface with your file menu and various options and so forth. If we quickly go through the interface, you can see you can set your default latitude as south or north and longitude as east or west, depending on which hemisphere, etc. that you are. And then you've got various data entry sections. So if we look at a typical set of information that we might want to put into our GPS, here we've got a map of an artificial reef in Moreton Bay. So there's some waypoints marks here for reef balls and a wreck and so forth. So to enter those in, we can either manually enter the data in. So if we select, for instance, the corner boundary and we want to enter that in, and we go to our latitude, we can see our default set to south, the same as what the mark is. And it's important that you enter the mark in the right format, degrees, minutes and decimal minutes. So we have the same format, and WGS84 is our datum. So we commence entering 27 24.549, and you can see as I fill in the data, you can just tab across to the next. When you fill a section up with the maximum amount of decimals that can take, it automatically jumps across. So we've got 153.18.211, and that automatically jumped. Jump to our name, and we'll do Harry A. Border, and you're limited to the amount of data that you can enter. I've set the maximum characters to the same on the Garmin GPS. You can select the mark type, and this is once again Garmin icons. These will be imported across, so we can set that to any of these, and we might choose say a blue circle. We want to display the symbol and the name in Homeport. Our depth, which is about 14 meters. We can put a comment such as reef boundary, and we can also select a category. Now the category will only work in Mapsource, and it will only work if you have a pre-existing category in Mapsource with the same name. So you can see here I've selected EasyMark Imports. If I go into Mapsource, into Edit, Preferences, and Waypoint Categories, you can see I've got a category already entered here with the same name. If I didn't have that, then that mark won't be put into that category when it's imported. It doesn't work in Homeport. When you bring it in Homeport, that's disregarded, and all the data would be put into a library collection with the same name as the GPX mark that you imported it from. Here's one I've done earlier. So once I've entered all the data, I simply hit Add Mark to Collection, and then if we look at our Collections tab, we can see all that data has been stored, and you will notice that the coordinates are now stored in simply decimal degrees without the minutes and so forth. This is because that's how the GPS unit will want them when it's imported. So if we go back to our collection of information, that was simply a corner boundary, but say for instance we want to put this wreck in, we simply select the data we want. It doesn't matter that we've picked up the degrees and so forth. Paste that in, and it will automatically ferret out what it needs and drop it in the right spot. Do the next piece, making sure we don't pick up the whole page. Paste it in, and we'll call that Harry A rec. We'll give it a rec somewhere on here. There's an icon for a rec. There we go. The depth is about 18 meters, I'm guessing. And add mark to the collection. The other option that you've got here, as you can see, you can retain a mark name and you can auto increment the name. So if I've got a whole bunch of markers here, like on this this rec, if I hit retain mark name, I can enter the section of the mark name that I want to keep, and I'll call it Harry A because it's Harry Atkinson Artificial Reef. Hit OK, and you can see it's added a number onto the end, and with auto increment number, each time I add one, that name will be put back in with the next number. So it just makes it easier to categorize whole sections. So if we run through here quickly, select this top one here, next one. Okay, it's no longer a rec. This one, we'll leave it as a blue circle. We won't worry about the depth. We'll say it's a reef ball because we can look across here. No, sorry, it's a pipe. Add that. And you can simply carry on changing these little bits of information, and they all get added into the collection here. From there we can simply go File, Save Collection, and it has a default of my collection, but we'll call it Harry A collection. Save that, and then we can go, if we want to later, we can reload that and add more data in. When we've completed all our data entry, we simply go Export to GPX file, and we'll call that Harry A collection is fine. Save that. So now we can simply cross to, I'll do it both in Mapsource and in Homeport. If we go Mapsource, you go File, Open, and we'll find Harry A collection, and we can see we've got 3 waypoints selected, and they're all in the Easy Marks imports category as well. And if we go across to Homeport, it's done slightly different. We can simply select My Collection, File, Import into My Collection, scroll down, Harry A, and if I scroll down now, I'll see I've got a Harry A collection with 3 waypoints. I can bring those up, has all the data that I've entered into it. So there you go, that's about all there is in using it. There's various options and so forth that can be set, the latitude default, longitude default, GPS type. As I said, it's designed for Garmin. It may or may not work well with other units, so I can't test that. You can edit the default comments. If you want a specific set of comments that you use quite a lot, you can put them in or take them out here. You can also edit the length, maximum length of several of the items if your GPS is allowed to use different things. You can sort the collection as it's being entered, either by name, latitude and longitude. That can be handy if you want to look for duplicates, etc. You can also sort by clicking on any of these bits of information. Okay, I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, simply send me an email. Thank you.